Imagine a nation once the envy of South America, floating on the world's largest proven oil reserves. Wealth poured in from black gold. Oil funded free education, healthcare, housing, and subsidies that made life comfortable for millions. Streets bustled, roads gleamed, and people dreamed big. Then the dream shattered. Today, that same country drowns in shortages of the very fuel it produces in abundance. Wheels leak poison into lakes and rivers. Roads crumble into dirt paths. Power flickers out for days. Hyperinflation turns money to dust. Millions flee, leaving behind a population that survives through barter, ingenuity, and quiet resilience. This is Venezuela, a petrostate fallen into one of the deepest economic collapses in modern history outside of war. The crisis roots go back decades, but it accelerated sharply after 2013. Oil prices crashed globally. Production plummeted due to years of neglect, lack of investment, and expertise drain. State oil company operations suffered from mismanagement and political decisions that prioritized short-term gains over long-term maintenance. Wells shut down, infrastructure decayed, exports dwindled. Sanctions from abroad tightened the noose further, blocking access to markets, technology, and capital. What began as a boom turned into a bust that swallowed the economy whole. Lake Maracaibo stands as a stark symbol of the ruin. Once a vibrant hub of oil activity and fishing, the lake now suffers chronic pollution. Abandoned wells rust in the water, leaking crude continuously for years. Black tar coats the surface. Algae blooms turn the water green from excess nutrients mixed with oil and untreated sewage. Treatment plants fail, dumping waste directly in. Fish stocks collapse. The lake, once perfect for swimming and recreation, becomes a toxic wasteland. Tankers that crowded its shores vanish. The landscape feels post-apocalyptic, with old oil worker gear bartered for basics. Communities along the shores adapt to the poison, but the damage lingers in health, livelihoods, and the environment. Fuel shortages define daily life across the country. Despite vast reserves, petrol becomes scarce and rationed. Lines stretch for hours at the few working stations, sometimes overnight. Drivers wait days for a limited fill-up. Quality suffers with watered-down fuel from the single operational refinery, damaging engines. Black market prices soar. In rural areas, transport grinds to a halt. Vehicles sit idle. People walk long distances or rely on animals. The paradox bites deep. A nation rich in oil starves for gasoline, diesel, and the basics it powers. Roads tell another story of decay. Once smooth highways paved in earlier prosperous decades now deteriorate into rough dirt tracks. Potholes swallow wheels. Mudslides block passages after rains. Rivers flood crossings without bridges. Maintenance stopped long ago. Travel turns treacherous, especially in mountainous regions near borders. Journeys that once took hours stretch into days. Landslides claim lives. Isolation grows. Crops rot unsold because no reliable way exists to reach markets. Communities cut off from supplies face hunger and hardship. Hyperinflation ravages what remains of the economy. The national currency loses value overnight. A single note that once held worth becomes worthless paper. Prices multiply wildly, sometimes tenfold in a week. Salaries buy almost nothing. Dollars dominate transactions where possible. Barter revives in villages and towns. Cheese trades for rice. produce swaps for medicine or fuel. Cash fades from circulation. Businesses shutter. Unemployment rises. Rural areas turn back to self-sufficiency, raising animals and growing food on small plots. Urban areas hide behind thin facades of normalcy, but shortages of food, water, and power reveal the truth. Power outages plague the nation. The grid, unmaintained for years, fails nightly in many places. Electricity vanishes for 48 hours or more, returning only sporadically. Darkness falls early. Generators run out of fuel. Nights grow quiet and cold. Water systems collapse alongside it. Taps run dry for months. Communities depend on sporadic truck deliveries. People carry buckets long distances or pay high prices for limited supplies. Sanitation suffers. Diseases spread in the absence of clean water. Malnutrition creeps in, especially among children. In remote indigenous areas, diets lack protein. Staples like cassava, plantains, and corn fill bellies but not nutritional needs. Schools go without food programs. Growth falters. Missions and aid groups step in with flour, pasta, lentils, and basic medicine. They monitor health, distribute supplies, and prevent worse outcomes. Solidarity emerges as a lifeline. Neighbors share resources. Communities band together to survive. The broader collapse drives mass exodus. Millions leave for neighboring countries and beyond, seeking food, work, safety. The population shrinks. Human capital drains away. Those who stay endure through determination. Rural life revives old ways. Farming, fishing, small-scale trade keep families afloat. Positivity persists amid struggle. Phrases like "nothing ventured, nothing gained" capture the spirit. People adapt, innovate, hold on. Venezuela's fall shocks because the fall was so steep. From richest in the region to one of the poorest. Oil promised endless wealth but delivered dependency. Mismanagement, price crashes, political choices, external pressures combined to break the system. Infrastructure rots. Environment suffers. Daily existence tests limits, yet the people persist. They fish polluted waters. They barter in markets. They cross ruined roads. They share what little remains. Resilience shines through the hardship. This collective story moves deeply. It warns of resource curses unchecked. It shows fragility of prosperity built on one pillar. It highlights human strength when systems fail. In Venezuela, a nation once swimming in oil now fights for basics. The struggle continues day by day, with hope flickering in the darkness. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button, share it with others who need to see the reality, and subscribe for more real stories from around the world. Follow along, let's keep exploring these truths together.